Welcome back to the Budget Bourbon Games, and we are finally here. We're finally at the end, and we have our contenders. Lots of surprises up here for me. Would never guarantee that this would ever be the same competition again, but I do want to get started. I don't want to spend a huge amount of time talking about these again. We've already talked about every single bottle up here and the companies that they came from. We'll have a few things in between, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. Okay, that's a very nice smell. Classic. Getting a little... First I got a little sort of like honeydew. Now I'm getting a little sort of peanut smell. Definitely the peanut smell now. Nice classic bourbon. I mean, none of these should be hot. The hottest thing up here is 84 proof or 86 proof. So yeah. Sort of a medium length finish. Getting some baking spices in the finish of that. Maybe a little clove. Okay. So, real quick review. We've got the Evan Williams Black Label. This is obviously red, white, and blue. Part of the American Hero Edition. This is last year's bottle design, I believe. Yeah, so this one is Triana Arnold James, Sergeant in the U.S. Army. So, Evan Williams, obviously made by Heaven Hill. This is the regular Black Label, 86 proof. Kentucky's #1 distiller, except for, or no, first distiller, not #1. First distiller in that they claim Evan Williams was the first distiller in Kentucky, which probably is not true. Okay. I'm almost getting like something savory off of this. I can't place it. Okay. Okay, this is classic bourbon, but dialed down from the last one. I would say the previous one was a little bit better than this. Still getting a little bit of that peanutty scent. There's nothing wrong with that, but it just sort of finishes and real quick finish. Yeah, it doesn't have really as much of the baking spices. Still haven't got much vanilla off in any of these. So Benchmark 8. Benchmark 8 made by Buffalo Trace. What did I say this was? Is this mash bill 1 or 2? I want to think it's the higher rye. 40 proof, 80 proof, 40% alcohol. Of the budget Buffalo Traces, I've always thought that this would be my favorite. I think it's the most consistent of all of them. Just given that like Old Charter in this competition, I thought was better than the original time I had it, and then H&H didn't care for it at all. I thought it tasted like nothing. Benchmark, I think, always sort of rides this nice line. Classic bourbon flavors. It's not the best thing you're ever going to have, but it's perfect for a mixed drink. And hell, obviously, you can sit there and drink it, and it's easy. But, all right, let's go for glass 4. 3. Jesus. Maybe something a little citrusy. Not getting the peanuts off of this. This is a little drier tasting, so less sweet, gives that sort of like coolness on the tongue. There's a little vanilla there. It's not bad. Can't. Yeah, I'm perceiving that as being like something almost citrusy, but not like overpowering citrus. Like somebody just grated just like a touch of lemon or orange. Okay. I think this is the smoothest. Good mouthfeel, better mouthfeel than the other two, but drier. Evan Williams Green Label. I mean, we've talked about the Black Label. This is their 80 proof version of that. This is way, way less common than the Black Label. You see the Black Label and the Bottle and Bond almost always. I am just stunned that the Bottle and Bond is not up here. Something tells me that, I don't know, that day I wasn't feeling it. These are charcoal filtered, but like I said, pretty sure that is not meaning the same thing as the Lincoln County process. And then genuine sour mash, like almost all bourbon is sour mash, with the exception of a few. What is it? Maybe it'll come to me, but there is a sweet mash that I just bought some of, but I can't remember what it is right now. So let us go. This guy. I'd say the color might be a little darker on this. Not getting a ton off the nose. I've just put 3 bourbons down, so it's not terribly surprising. Oh. Okay. This is vanilla ratcheted up quite a lot compared to the other ones. So yeah, sweeter. Everything is turned up quite a bit. So I'll be interested to compare these two. There I got some dark fruit out of that. So before we sort of try and figure this out, last one we got to talk about is this Vero Barton. This was a big surprise for me. Don't drink Vero Barton very much. When I do, it's the 100 proof version, and even when I do that, I'd still have some of the bottled and bond very old Barton, which I occasionally will crack out if I just am feeling like it. I think pretty sure all of these are 3 years old, with the exception of the black label, 36 months. This one is 36 months. Benchmark, 36 months. And no age statement, so 4 years. So I'm going to quickly go to these two again. I'm getting the peanuts back on this. No question about that. Like heavy. This is better. That is like, to me, classic bourbon. Right down the line, sweet, vanilla. Doesn't have the baking spice that some of these have, or as much as at the very least. Let's go. Okay. Still getting peanut off of this. No peanut. These are pretty close. But I'm going to go 3, 4. So, let's see what we got. Number 4 is the benchmark. Number 3. Vero Barton. Now, this will be strange if it comes out in the order that you would not think it is. And of course, Evan Williams Green Label, which means that in the budget bourbon games, we have Evan Williams Black. Is that surprising to me? I am surprised that I didn't think in the last round that Evan Williams Bottled and Bond was better. And I'm surprised that Jim Beam, I think that was in the same round as the Vero Barton. I think. But I'm surprised that that came out on top. I'm surprised that Jim Beam wasn't higher up. And I'm for sure, obviously surprised that the Evan Williams Bottled and Bond didn't come up higher. The H&H, I hear that is like completely hit or miss. But none of these are bad. And here's the thing. Nothing I had here was bad. I would bet, besides the fact that most of us that are in sort of the bourbon world aren't drinking down at this 80 proof level, so we would sort of think, oh, well, it's fine, but it's not what I enjoy drinking. I would bet that, you know, a good 80% of people wouldn't be able to tell much of a difference. Now, there were some of these that not necessarily were bad, but they just didn't taste like anything. That Jesse James doesn't really taste like much. That Zachary Harris didn't really taste like much. The Rebel Yell, I was incredibly like disappointed in that it didn't like end up higher at all. I know I tend to be typically a high rye person, but there's not anything up here that is truly high rye. There might be some 18%ers or something like that, but nothing like that. So that is the first annual. I don't know. Maybe we do these every 2 years to see how my palate changes. Not sure what we do next. I would like to put that Evan Williams Bottled and Bond up against some other Bottled and Bonds that maybe you can't get around. Who can't get everywhere, the JTS. I don't know. I have a few different bottles of Bond, but we could try that out. And yeah, I think this was fun. It was a lot. It took a lot to get this done, so I hope you enjoyed it. I hope maybe you picked up some knowledge about some of these bottles and some of these brands that you didn't know. I also was surprised. I was definitely surprised that Bottled and Bond, and there is a fruit fly right here. Also hope that like you give some of these brands a shot that maybe you didn't think you were like, oh, I don't want to, I don't care about that. That's gross. That's not going to be anything good. I think you'd be surprised. And some of these things, it wouldn't even cost you very much to even do this, like what I just did. And granted, I bought these over the course of like the pandemic and stuff like that, and maybe had some of these. Obviously, this is an older one. That Ezra Brooks is an older bottling. The Rebel, of course, is now Rebel rather than Rebel Yell. So yeah, I would give all these a shot. It doesn't cost very much to try these out and do this kind of thing yourself. And at worst, what do you have? A mixer? I mean, try out budget bourbons. I think some of these would be really, really surprising for you, especially if you haven't tried some of the higher proof ones in the hundreds. And you would get something out of each and every one of these, I think. And it shouldn't surprise me that like one of the biggest bourbon brands around came out on top. Of course, sort of surprised me that it came out above some of the other brands, but that's okay. That's okay. We're here to learn. I'm here to figure out my palate, such that it is, and see if we can learn together. So, for Bourbon Friday and me, again, I'm Eric Lujnegger, the host of Bourbon Friday. I hope you enjoyed some of this. I hope you learned something. I hope you try some of these. And, let me know what you think. What should have won? I'm sure I got this wrong, and that's okay. Anyway, till next time, I'm Eric. I'll see you later. Hey, thanks for watching. We truly hope you enjoyed it. Please like and share this episode, and if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. To stay up to date, follow us on social. We are at Bourbon Fridays on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok. See you next time.